guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and a subject I've avoided like the plague. We're going to talk about Masters of the Universe Revelations. Now, this show has been wide and far and deep with controversy, but there are a few things that recently came up that I wanted to actually talk about when it goes into the second half of the first season, the second season, the next 5 episodes, whatever you want to say. There's a few things that came up. I'm going to talk about it. I think I can add a little insight and maybe debunk a little bit of the craziness. Now, my predictions, and there will be spoilers in this video. If you do not want to be spoiled, click away. My prediction is that we are going to have Adam return as He-Man by the last episode because of the Variety article. We already pretty much know that. And we already pretty much know that there is going to be a couple huge battles towards the end. I also think that we will see Teela naturally become the sorceress, right? That's something that's been hinted at for so many years that I see that as a definite smart continuation. And I also think that we will see Andra become Man-at-Arms. I do think that would give them the trio they need, right? And we know that if Teela is not is the sorceress, she cannot then become Man-at-Arms. I mean, I guess she could. Woman-at-Arms. That was her natural progression, from her father. But I think that's what we're going to mainly see. Now, there is some rumors going around about Andra becoming He-Man, and I want to talk a little bit about what the voice actress said and some odd, off-putting, we're going to call it off-putting, posts from Netflix that used really bad examples. So we're going to talk about that too. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. As always, hit like. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know whether you hate it or you love the show and what you think about these different posts. So let's take a look at what Tiffany Smith had to say. Now, Tiffany Smith plays Andra, and I was honestly a little surprised that she was not, how do I say this without being nice? She was able to play a black woman. I don't know much about Tiffany Smith, but she doesn't look black, and usually that is sort of a point of controversy for a lot of people, right? So even so, let's take a look at what she has to say. She said, not long after an audition for Masters of the Universe Revelation came up, I did the audition, but I didn't want to reach out to Kevin or anything. I really wanted my work to speak for itself. I remember at the end of the audition, I had to say the iconic line, I have the power. So I pulled out my lightsaber out the wall, and yes, I have too. And I raised it over my head and I said the line. I realized they would think it was super cool or go, oosh. Thankfully, a couple of weeks later, I got a call saying that I was booked for the role of Andra. Now, a lot of people are talking about this saying, yes, this is kind of, proof or foreshadowing that she is going to be the new He-Man. I'm assuming they had everybody do that line. I've never done voice acting, but when I was acting, oh my God, 15 years ago, a lot of what you read isn't set in stone. It's a scene. It's, this. A lot of times there isn't even the script available or finished at the time. A lot of times it's just your gender that you're playing. And sometimes you get lucky and you're actually reading a scene and maybe can figure it out. But most of the times you do not. Most of the time it's just here, read this, run this line with so-and-so and we'll let you know. And I have a feeling that's what it is. Sometimes they'll take, they may be doing something like taking, everybody saying it and put it on the extras. Do they still do that? Like when I used to get DVDs, okay, I had 2. It was Rent and Phantom of the Opera. They used to put like extras or commentary or that kind, voice acting, that kind of stuff on there. I don't know how they do that when everything's digital anymore. And it was kind of cool, right? Your favorite movie you get to learn a little bit more about. I don't know. They used to do stuff like that, so it could be, but probably not in this situation because I don't even know if they have extras anymore. Even so, the script's never done. The script's just never done. So reading something like that, or there's a possibility within those 5 episodes, she'll have to take the sword for a temporary time. But again, I want to bring this back to, this is Mattel. They are not going to get rid of a very lucrative toy. It's like getting rid of Barbie, right? Okay, maybe not quite as big as Barbie. And remember, Rob David, he's the executive producer at Mattel and in charge of this stuff. And the main guy that was behind 90% of the DC Comics run after Giffen left, right? So he pretty much gave the plots. Dan Abnett did the scripting for it. So David does a great job knowing how to handle these characters. I really think this would be a whole new conversation had they released it all. But that animation looks expensive, I'm assuming. And speaking of, let's take a look at what Netflix had to say about the new muscular shape that Teela takes. I actually find it completely normal that Teela is more muscular. What I find odd is that we have a more muscular Evelyn, right? She has no reason to be muscular. At least with Teela, she's ran off and she's been this magical bounty hunter for some time, and she would have had to have remained quite well in shape, right? Evelyn does magic. Why does she have, some serious guns there? So I don't get that one. But as far as it goes for Teela, which is kind of the same situation we ran into when it came to Abby, it was all over, right? It's something to hang on to and make video after video after video about. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the women that actually have this body type, because they absolutely exist. Did anybody else love Charmed? I love Charmed. Charmed was so good. Alyssa Milano, back when she was saying that muscle popping out. Now, this is a little bit of a better example here. Fernando Brado, like, whoa, that girl is beautiful too. Like, absolutely stunning. So we can even look at Mel B. Oh, I loved the Spice Girls when I was young. Oh, that's ridiculous. Jodie Marsh. Okay, of course, Hugh Jackman. Yeah, Rebecca Armstrong. I mean, these are such normal body types. Janet Jackson. When you have a thinner frame and you work out with teeny tiny, arms, they're going to get muscular. It's just pretty normal for women, at least. Elizabeth Shue. And I'm talking celebrities here. So they obviously have personal trainers and such. Hilary Swank, right? Jennifer Morrison. When these celebrities, have personal trainers, but even somebody that's always been relatively petite for my life, and just, short and fun size in nature. When you have thinner arms, Gal Gadot, look at those muscles. Okay, we're going to leave it on Gal Gadot because that's my major girl crush. So putting Gal Gadot here makes sense. She's got muscles. And then Cora was based off of Gina Carano, who's got even bigger muscles. So this does make sense, but Evelyn, I'm still not gonna, I've defended this show from my side of the stance, but I can't defend Evelyn. It makes no sense. A lot of people we're getting targeted as a gender, women, and everything's becoming a little bit more androgynous. And I don't disagree with that statement at all. I think more body types are important, and probably more important to women than they are to men, right? Something I've talked about multiple times on my channel. But since, I saw a magazine or a teeny bop magazine or a Vogue, I've had severe issues with food. Not only with that, but just absolute terrible body dysmorphic disorder my entire life. So saying, something like having different body types is a bad thing is silly. Women see themselves in different body types. Now, I obviously don't see myself in that body type. I just don't have the muscle mass or the size for it. But when it comes to other people, they may. Still not going to say Evelyn's okay, because that's weird. But having that if that helps little girls growing up now or the next generation see different things, and I'm not talking about on a normal basis, and I'm not talking about making, Batman fat. I'm talking about if it helps, then great. But what you don't want to do is include one gender, but forget the other. So we look at something like Teela. Okay, she's had a body change. And you look at something like He-Man. And it's, what are you saying? Like, you got to include both genders in this conversation, because there are men that have anorexia and have dealt with anorexia or dealt with some sort of bulimia. And it's a real thing, and it's a real issue. And it's something that is near and dear to me as compared to maybe someone else that doesn't care about seeing different body types. And that's fine. And I don't care about it for me anymore. At some point, you just give up when it comes to that. But when it comes to actually knowing little girls are going through what I do, I have a soft spot for that. And I want all girls to know that there is a way to get through it. There is a way to come above it, even if you have to just learn to deal. Sometimes that's the best way, So I don't know. I have no issue with the body type. I think it's, like I said, it's silly with Evil Lynn. But as far as, saying she's like Abby or, Abby was a real person. As far as erasing femininity, I don't ever want to see it go that far. Because you need to highlight the difference between genders without making one gender the other, if that makes sense. You need to highlight femininity without turning a strong woman into a man. And it can be done. I don't think it was done correctly in this show at all. But it can be done. You just have to have the right writers. And I would say that, I don't know. I was going to say Last of Us 2 did a better job of it. We saw that soft side of Abby, and you really learned to like her, even though she was extremely muscular. So it's give and take, right? There's no good balance that somebody's figured out yet. And that's really unfortunate. But most importantly, out of anything, don't exclude the other to prop up yourself. So don't talk about women's body types and this and that if you're not going to talk about men's too. It's just not fair. And don't simply change, the way Catwoman looks because you feel bad about yourself. Then go work on yourself. You can. It's possible. There's plenty of different things out there. But it's not up to me to decide what you want to do. I would suggest intermittent fasting, but I'm just saying. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about this. I'm sure there'll be a lot of difference of opinions, but even so, I'm curious to see from a different perspective. I always enjoy that. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.